What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we got an interesting one here. We're actually in Finland, but we got nackagubben here with Aleksi himself telling us the most Google questions about Finland. Now, I seen that he actually have one. Oh, sorry. He actually have one also that's the most Google questions about Sweden. So I'm going to check both of those out. Yeah, I can't think what would be a question Americans would have for Finland. Maybe about the saunas, all that other stuff. The cold, of course. Is it depressed? Is it happy? Is it really the happiest country in the world? That's what I would think. If I didn't know about Finland, I would just, probably first bring up the cold. But let's check this out.
We're having a splendid day out there, and welcome. Today we're going to find out what Google suggests to us when we're searching for Finnish related stuff. And to help me out, I have the fabulous Finn Aleksi himself. How are you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
For you guys who don't know Aleksi, he's a Finnish YouTuber, and I realized that I can't answer these questions myself because I'm not a Finn. I haven't lived in Finland, so I need some expert. Before we go into this, we did a similar thing over at Aleksi's channel, so be sure to check that one out and do the nackagubben. That's how you do it. Today we're gonna ask the age-old question: can Finns understand Swedish? Aleksi.
The fact is that in Finland we have to learn Swedish because Swedish is actually the second official language here in Finland. We have to do it in school and stuff. I
thought so. I can't remember if it's somewhere in northern Sweden where they speak a lot of Finnish, or if it's northern Finland where they speak a lot of Swedish, mostly Swedish. Because there was one, I did a video before. It was one video talking about one of the cities in one of those countries that speak the other language, mostly as a first language.
Once we get out of school, we basically forget Swedish because there is not that much opportunities to use Swedish. Maybe in the capital area and maybe on the west coast there are some Swedish-speaking people there, but in general, I think the level of Swedish among Finns is quite low.
If I were to go to Finland, for example, would I be able to speak Swedish? Isn't that only on like the west coast of Finland, there where I could talk Swedish and people would understand me?
The west coast, and I would say in Helsinki there are also some people who can speak, but that would be actually quite fun. I would love to make a social experiment with you if you come to Finland and you would just approach random Finns and talk to Swedish and see what kind of reactions you would get. But
that would be cool.
I would still assume that some Finns
that was pretty much just like me when I went to Sweden. Actually Sweden and Denmark at the time. I was worried. I was like, man, would people understand me? Would I be able to? But I was able to hold conversation with some people and stuff like that. The signs were in English, so that kind of took away a fear. So I just know that, at least when I was in Finland, I just know they were speaking, Sweden, I just know they were speaking more than Swedish there. I just know they were.
Kind of get, not pissed, but a little bit kind of annoyed.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. Like if a Swede comes to Finland and like, I expect you to speak Swedish, then I would expect them to be a little bit pissed off.
Right.
Anyway, it wouldn't be the same if Finns were to come to Sweden and attempt to speak Finnish. We would just be like, what? Moving on to the next statement here, which is, or rather a question. Can Finns and Hungarians understand each other?
Can we understand each other? No. But the thing is that Finnish and Hungarian are... I think they both belong to this Finn-Ugric, Uralic language family. I think it's Uralic language family.
I would think Hungarian, Hungary is close to Greece, isn't it?
And that's where the
I haven't looked at my map in a long time.
From, but unfortunately, the relationship is so distant that they have actually developed in completely different languages. So we can't really understand each other. But there are some similarities in the vocabulary. Few things that I know is, for example, hand in Finnish is käsi, and in Hungarian it's kes.
Guess. Oh, that's very similar. That's very similar.
One really funny word which I learned. I don't know how this is actually come from, but perse in Finnish means ass. But in yeah, it seems in Hungarian like perce means like of course.
If you have a discussion with a Finn and
that would be the craziest thing, saying one word, because I think I do the peace sign like this. I'd be like, all right, I'm out. Somebody will like, I think those are actually two fingers that mean something bad somewhere else. So it's like sometimes we do things that it might mean something here, but in another place it means something totally different.
You're from Hungary, you shouldn't say, oh, perse, then Finns would just laugh at you. I suppose. Yeah. Moving on to the third question from people out there who's searching on Google, which is, can Finns understand Estonian? So yet again, it's a
okay, that's pretty
Finns
close right there.
Blah, blah, blah. Estonian, I've gathered that, I don't know that much of the Uralic language tribe kind of thingy, but from what I've understood, the Estonian is also part of that family tree.
The thing with Estonian is that Estonian and Finnish are very close, very similar, sound really similar, and the vocabulary is also pretty similar. To be honest, like let's say if Estonian spoke something to me, I could probably get some words here and there without knowing anything about Estonian. Yeah, it's actually quite similar, but if you ask me, the Estonian sounds kind of funny. It's like kind of funny this kind of like a tone, and I guess one of the reasons is that it sounds so similar to my language, but I still can't quite understand it. So
when I went to Estonia, I heard people speak Estonian, and to me it sounded like I'm going to be attacked by Finnish when I say this. It sounded exactly like Finnish to me because I don't speak Finnish, but
I don't think I ever heard Estonian before. I need to check that out. I need to see the similarities for Finnish and Estonian. Cause I have done some Estonia videos, and they're right there. And I get a lot of people even from Estonia when I post Finnish videos. They comment and seem like they understand.
It sounded less harsh. They didn't have the hard consonants and stuff. I don't know if that's
partner relationship
reality though, but
yeah, like Finnish usually sounds a little bit melancholic because because for example the stressing is always in the first syllable in every word, so it kind of has like this kind of monotonic kind of impression.
But that's very interesting. It sounds a little bit like what we Swedes would say, not with Danish, but sometimes I feel when I hear Dutch, it feels like they talk a made-up Swedish. It sounds exactly like Swedish, but I don't understand a single word. It just sounds like they're talking Swedish, which is gibberish. Right. But enough about that. And moving on to this question: can Finns speak English? Can you answer this question to me, Aleksi? Can you speak English?
Yeah, so Finns can speak quite good English.
Speaking English the whole video. Hey, can you speak English?
To me, Aleksi, can you speak English?
Yeah, funny. So in general, Finns can speak quite good English, probably because we get...
And y'all know, I was in Finland for an hour on my way back home. For the most part, it was English. Signs were in English, all that stuff.
We get
so
exposed
it was good.
to English quite a lot in younger age because, for example, games, movies, TV series, like foreign ones, are never dubbed or translated to Finnish. And we also, in classes in school, we also practice speaking English. Yeah. So we actually get to practice it, and because if you just learn grammar and shit and never use it, you're not actually getting anywhere with that. So
I love the fact that you said grammar and shit. That's the best description I've ever heard. How is it with the older generation? Do they speak as well English?
Well, some do.
I wouldn't expect them to.
My mom is a language teacher, so for her it's a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
English, but my dad can also communicate like okayish in English. He's been doing some traveling and stuff, and he has also kind of like an accent and grammar is doing so well, but he can still communicate, which is point of speaking a foreign language. And I would still like quite a few among elders can also speak English.
So let's do another question to see what people are asking. Why do Finns
Location. What?
Oh,
What is this a question? What do people really?
People really
Okay,
ask
so
that?
Why
That's crazy.
What do you think people think that?
That's funny. People really ask that. I need to search that up. I might have to ask Google some questions and see what pop up. At least now, because this video is a little older.
Location. I don't know if I would agree to that, but
yeah, that's a really interesting statement. I think I have heard
That's funny.
somewhere that somehow the eyes of Finns have a little bit similarity to some Asian-looking eyes, but
Asian-looking eyes is crazy.
I've never heard this.
no, me neither.
Actually, quite interesting. Maybe if there's audio.
That is interesting.
Video,
That is.
You should definitely drop us a comment and tell what you think.
All right. Why do Finns have to learn Swedish?
A neighboring country.
This is a very interesting historical question, I would assume.
Well, you all used to be part of Sweden in the
We
the
conquered
past.
you.
Yeah, you kind of conquered your ass. And the reason comes from those times because we were part of Sweden. We had to learn Swedish. And even today, even if we have been independent country for 100 years, it still kind of lingers on the kind of the Swedishness. Even today, Swedish is the second official language here, and that's, for example,
Which
why
makes
all
sense.
the
It makes
official
sense.
public sectors, this bureaucratic offices and everything has to be also, there has to be like Swedish instructions and everything because of the official language.
It should be noted as well that there are places in Finland on the west coast where they pretty much only speak Swedish and have Finnish as their second language, and they speak a kind of like a dialect of Swedish. So, final question for today: why do
I told y'all it was a video. I just can't remember if it was in Sweden or Finland, but they speak the opposite as a first language. I always thought that's pretty
drink
interesting.
so
right
much coffee? I brought this question up. It's not a question. I brought it up in one of my videos regarding Finland. If you're interested in that, it's going to be a suggestion coming up here. Basically, I talked about fun facts about Finland, and Finland is one of the most coffee-consuming countries in the world, which is
a lot of coffee. Yeah,
back in the days, coffee used to be like a drink for upper-class people. And at
I
some
can see
point,
that. I can see
it became
that.
a little bit more
Maybe tea
like normal for everyday
well.
people. But then when we had a little bit tougher times, like the wars and stuff, we lost like the real coffee and had this kind of like substitute instead. At some point when wars were over and we actually managed to get our hands on the real coffee, like some people felt that this is actually the time that we are starting to get
Need
on
that
our
coffee.
feet again, and people felt happy because there was actually real coffee and not the substitute coffee, which was kind of like bad.
The
Also,
Starbucks.
it's like we have, for example, a lot of words in Finnish vocabulary which are compound words where the one word is coffee. Let's say like päiväkahvi is like day coffee. Lähtökahvis means like a farewell or like a departure coffee. Then we have also mitalikahvit, which means like medal coffee. Like if someone has won like a medal in some tournament, then you organize like a coffee event. The coffee is also present in the language quite a lot.
Interesting. I didn't know that coffee was such a part of like the culture as well, as so much that it's in the language itself. You should talk about that.
But because I'm really weird myself because I don't drink coffee at all.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee
You're
drinker.
not Finnish.
I'm not a coffee drink. If I'm like really, really sleepy or tired, I'll drink some coffee. Other than that, I got a energy drink. Try to drink those. But I don't do really.
We have
coffee.
the same
Like,
issue in
I feel
Sweden.
like I
but
put too much
in the
sugar.
wintertime, it's very dark when it comes to those winter months, and so the sun is barely up, and so you have to drink a lot of coffee in order to stay awake. I assume. I don't know if that's another reason. Very nice.
For sure,
it feels
for
like
sure. Gotta stay awake.
we've answered a lot of really nice questions about Finland. It feels like I've learned a little bit more about Finland, which is good. I feel a little bit embarrassed that I don't know that much about Finland, which is a country very close to Sweden. So it's one of my missions to learn more about the
That's surprising.
People.
The sauna
of
culture.
Finland. Yes.
The sauna people.
Thank you so much for joining me, Aleksi.
My pleasure. It was fun.
And
That
as I
was
said in
nice.
the
That
beginning
was
of the
a good
video, be sure to check Aleksi out. He has a nice little channel about Finland, and also we'll continue on this video over at his channel, so be sure to check that video out as well. I hope you guys had a splendid time here together with us, with the Finnish Aleksi and me.
The Finnish Aleksi and me.
What?
Oh,
And
did you ask me something? Okay, well.
no, it's fine. It's fine. And
That's
until
funny.
the next time I see you and your pretty face, I hope you have a splendid
No, this
day.
was good.
Bye.
The outro. No, this was good. This was good, man. Sometimes it is quite amazing because I do see videos of people in neighboring countries that don't know much about the other country. So that's also interesting. I'm sure he probably know a lot about Sweden now. But y'all make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. I've already subscribed. Like I said, I've done some videos before. But this was good. I'm going to check out the Swedish one next. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Other than that, that's all I have. Y'all send down those recommendations. Hey, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to add the playlist so you can add video. I might have to create a new playlist, but if you can add, I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to. If it's not working, I think you can add the links. But hey, that's all I have. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.